Is it a good idea to pair the RTX 4070 Ti Super with the 1440p monitor? Let's find out. To test it out, I've paired the MSI RTX 4070 Ti Super Ventus 2X with my pre-built CyberPower PC powered by MSI, equipped with the i7-14700KF. And the monitor is the 165Hz IPS Gigabyte M27Q. If you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, then you can find them at the links in the description below. Let's start our experience with the Horizon Forbidden West, which perfectly represents an average AAA game in 2024 in terms of graphics and performance. Graphics settings are absolutely maxed out and field of view is set to the maximum. And we are using native 1440p resolution. No upscaling, no frame generation for now, but we'll take a look at those features later on in the video. This game doesn't have ray tracing, so it should be fairly easy to run. And indeed, this is a brilliant experience. Over 90 FPS at native resolution, that is great. Let's go inside of the tavern, where FPS usually drops. And indeed, we're getting 80 plus now, but this is well above 60, and with the high refresh rate monitor, like this 165Hz M27Q, you can really appreciate the higher frame rates. I think we will be able to achieve 120 FPS experience with this setup. Of course, we can only do that with help of DLSS. DLSS set to quality looks very nice on a 1440p display. And this is it, 120. Although not consistently, we're still getting dips below 120, so it's like 112 now, 107. And once we enter the tavern, I'm pretty sure that we'll drop to something like 90 plus. No? Huh, no. Actually, it does stay above 100 at all times. Nice. Let's add frame generation into the mix. This is it. Oh, yes. This feels so good. So smooth. The image fluidity is just marvelous. The FPS is at 150 plus. Sometimes drops just a little bit below that. There we go, 130 plus. Dude, this experience is awesome. Just take a look at this. 150, 140 plus FPS. Oh yes, this is the way to go. And in certain scenes, we're getting above 160 FPS. Hellblade 2 is one of the most GPU demanding games of 2024 that features software-based ray tracing. This game was built in Unreal Engine 5, so that is Lumen we're talking about. We're using native 1440p and maxed out graphics settings. No frame generation, no resolution upscaling for now. And the performance is quite solid in this particular area of the game, but this is not the worst case scenario. Right now we are on our way to one of the most graphically demanding areas in the game, and as we approach it, the FPS is above 70, so that's promising. We are about to enter the Forest of Doom. Oh, 48 FPS. Well, that's not good. And take a look at that. GPU load is still at full load. 99%, it means it's fully loaded. And the CPU is doing fine. So this is, yeah, this game is just that demanding. That just shows that if you are going to use the 4070 Ti Super to play the most demanding AAA games in 2024, then you will still have to use DLSS resolution upscaling at least. Let's set it to quality and see if that's enough to get us that 60 plus FPS experience. And that solves the problem. Have a look at that beautiful, beautiful 60 plus FPS. Yes, 65, 63. This is good. and the game still looks brilliant. There is no problem with using DLSS set to quality on a 1440p display. We don't even have to use frame generation to enjoy this game at maximum graphics. But we are going to try frame generation anyway, because why not? And let's pair it with DLSS quality. In this particular scene, we're getting 150, 160 plus FPS. This is beautiful. The image is incredibly fluid. FPS even goes beyond 170 from time to time, so yeah, my monitor isn't even good enough to display that because it is limited by 165 Hz. And in the forest, we're getting well above 100 FPS. The reason I don't want to use frame generation paired with native resolution is because base FPS drops to something like 48, 47 from time to time, as you've seen earlier in the video. And that is not nice. That messes with the controls, and I'm all for consistency. That's why pair it with resolution upscaling to have that base FPS very high, at least 60 plus. Then you'll have a very good time because your controls will be extremely responsive. Alan Wake 2 features hardware-based ray tracing, and it is another extremely GPU-demanding game, so let's check it out. We are at native 1440p, no upscaling, no frame generation, high graphics preset, and ray tracing is set to high. Performance difference between high and medium is minimal, just a couple of FPS, so that's why I choose to test on high or play on high whenever I can. Low ray tracing preset looks horrible, it's not worth it. We're getting around 50 FPS, sometimes it drops below 50 to something like 47, 45. And this is not even the most demanding area in the game. This one is. We are now in the forest. 25 FPS. Nah, I don't want any of this. No way. Let's see how much we can improve that performance with resolution upscaling. Let's set DLSS to quality. It's better. Close to 40. However, we're looking for 60 plus FPS, aren't we? Lowering resolution upscaling further is not really an option because I don't like how balanced looks on a 27-inch 1440p screen. With balanced, we are starting to lose too many finer details, so let's keep it on quality and use frame generation instead. And this is much better. Image fluidity is nice and high. We are getting above 60 FPS in the forest. And the controls latency it's noticeable if you are sensitive to that kind of thing. However, it is okay. I can't say that it's horrible. It feels fine, and you won't be spending all of your time in this area, so you don't have to worry about that too much. Because in other areas in the game, like this indoors area right here, you'll get good FPS. Well above 90. Beautiful experience. And why I like ray tracing so much is because of those beautiful, beautiful reflections. Just take a look at how realistic those reflections look. It's absolutely gorgeous. For contrast, this is reflections without ray tracing. They look dirty and horrible, and not even complete. That boat doesn't look right in the reflection. But what you get by disabling ray tracing is very high FPS. Take a look at that. 177, 160 plus over here. That's with DLSS set to quality and frame generation enabled. Let's keep graphics preset on high, ray tracing turned off, and let's turn off frame generation and keep resolution upscaling on quality. Inside of the forest, we are getting well above 70 FPS. Very nice indeed. This is a pleasant experience. However, I would prefer using ray tracing on high and frame generation as well as resolution upscaling to boost that FPS, because this game heavily relies on immersion, and that ray tracing, reflections, as you've seen, it just brings immersion to a whole new level. And the last thing left to check is how will the 4070 Ti Super do at native 1440p without DLSS, without frame generation, and ray tracing turned off. Graphics quality is set to high. It's a solid experience, 80 plus FPS in the town. But inside of the forest, we're not getting that 60 FPS. 54, 52, oh, this is nasty. So you see, even without ray tracing, it's not possible to run this game at 60 plus FPS consistently in all areas of the game. So it doesn't really matter if you're using ray tracing or not. You'll still have to use DLSS to boost that performance if you want a consistent 60 plus FPS experience. The last game we're going to experience today is the First Descendant, which is just over a month old, also built in Unreal Engine 5. Let's use maximum graphics preset, and we are at native 1440p resolution, no resolution upscaling, no frame generation for now. And it's not looking too hot. We're getting dangerously close to 60 FPS from time to time, which tells me that it is possible that we'll experience some drops below 60 from time to time. This is a fast-paced game, so I really prefer getting something like 90 plus FPS. That means that we'll have to use DLSS to achieve that. Let's select Resolution Upscaling Quality Mode. And actually, that improves performance by quite a lot. Take a look at that. 100 plus FPS over here, and 90 plus in other scenes. This is what I was looking for. Gameplay feels nice and smooth, very responsive. This is much more pleasant than native resolution and 60 plus FPS. This is well worth it. Obviously, you won't get better responsiveness by enabling frame generation, but image fluidity will be nicer. Let's enable that. Ooh, 130 plus FPS? Nice. Yeah, but 1% lows are at 70 plus. Oh my. But at least average is fine. Image fluidity is just through the roof. This is very good. However, I'm not sure about using frame generation in a game like this. It looks fine. There's no issues that bother me right away. HUD elements look okay. So, if you like frame generation, if you like fluid picture on the screen, then go for it. This is a very much pleasant experience. The last thing left to check is how will the 4070 Ti Super do with ray tracing enabled. Let's select Ultra preset. I'm pretty sure that we have to keep DLSS on quality and frame generation enabled. And it is fine. We're still getting 120-ish FPS. Let's do one last fight. Yes, let's go. The performance is good. Oh my, they're getting me. And there we go. Great experience overall. No complaints. Let's disable frame generation, but keep DLSS on quality. And we can still have a good time with consistently high FPS, over 60. Although it is up to you. As I mentioned previously, personally, I like having at least 90 FPS in this type of game. This is a fast-paced game. So 120 is ideal, 90 is good, 60 is acceptable. Overall, the 4070 Ti Super delivers a good experience at 1440p, even with ray tracing enabled in very demanding games such as Alan Wake 2 and Hellblade 2. But you still have to use DLSS resolution upscaling and even frame generation in some cases. Personally, I prefer using the 4070 Ti Super to play games on a 4K monitor. I've done that test yesterday, so check it out on the channel. I'll also have that video linked in the description below. 4K experience is just generally better, and you have more flexibility with using DLSS resolution upscaling because you can select DLSS balanced on a 4K screen and it will look amazing. DLSS allows us to reclaim some of that performance lost by rendering at 4K resolution with this graphics card without affecting the image quality. If you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can get them on Amazon at the links in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to reward it with a like. It helps me out a lot. And let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the 4070 Ti Super? Also, subscribe for more videos like this if you haven't already. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.